Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm out here shooting my Ruger MkIII 2245. With the ammo crunch that's on right now, it's really hard to find 9mm, 45, 38 special, pretty much all the common calibers out there. And when you do find that ammunition, it can be really expensive. So a lot of us, myself included, have started to turn towards the 22. But don't kid yourself, I know that you guys are probably saying, but 22 long rifle is hard to come by right now as well, and it is. However, I've had pretty good luck the last few weeks, just hitting the regular gun shops, finding a box of 22 here and there. I've built up a pretty nice supply of it, well over 500 rounds. And it's still more affordable than the 9mm when I find it out there. So I've turned to shooting the 22, and I also picked up a new 22, which you guys may have seen on the Facebook page. And that is, of course, this 2245. This pistol has a short barrel, 4.5-inch barrel. It has a threaded barrel on it. And of course, it's chambered in 22 long rifle. And that's what I want to show you guys this afternoon. Let's get started. The Ruger MkIII 2245 gets its name from the style of the pistol grip here. Now first let's talk about the history of the pistol. This pistol was introduced in 1949. The gun was designed by Bill Ruger, and the handgun, the original model, had a very similar shape to a World War II era pistol called the Nambu pistol, which was made by Japan. Bill Ruger was given a Nambu pistol by a former Marine that brought one home as a war trophy, and he made two replicas of that handgun, which gave him his design inspiration for the standard model 22, which came to market again in 1949. So it had a very similar profile to both the Nambu, and a lot of people will see a lot of design similarities between it and the Luger pistol. Ruger. Yeah, it's easy for me to get those two confused. So it looks very similar to the Luger and also to the Nambu. Now this pistol has taken a departure from the original 1949 design and has incorporated a 1911 style pistol grip. If you'll take a look at this pistol that I'm holding up next to the Ruger 2245, you'll notice that the grips, these two pistols, look very familiar, or very similar I should say. Very similar thickness and profile, so much so it would look as though you could take this grip panel off the 1911 and put it on the 2245. You'll also notice on the 45 that you have a slide mounted safety here and a slide stop right here. It's similarly located on the Ruger 2245. That's the safety, and that's the slide stop. The magazine release is also located in the same spot as the 1911. So the Ruger MkIII 2245 is a handgun that suits me nicely because I do like to shoot the 1911 style pistol. I find it fits my hand very well, and it makes it for very familiar shooting for me. Now the other thing I like about this particular pistol is I purposely bought it with a 4.5-inch barrel. It looks rather stumpy, but it also, if you'll notice this knurled knob here on the end, I can unscrew that because it has a threaded barrel, and that's why I bought this handgun. One of the other cool things about 22s is the fact that you can easily and affordably suppress them. I have here in my pocket, if I can find the right pocket, a Huntertown Arms Guardian 22 suppressor, which will thread right onto the end of the 2245. Now I have a very quiet target pistol that is easy on the ears. You'll notice I don't have any hearing protection on. Even with standard ammo, the short barrel doesn't really allow the bullet in the right atmospheric conditions to break the sound barrier, so it keeps pretty much all 22 long rifle ammunition really quiet with this Guardian suppressor in place. Let me grab a magazine here for you guys really quick and show you just how handy this little handgun is with a suppressor. Well, wouldn't you know it that I have my magazine screwed up here. Let's try that again. Stick the magazine in. There we go. Now check this out. It's nice and quiet. If you heard that louder pop, that was a bullet breaking the sound barrier. I'm right at the limits of the sound barrier with these loads. And this is just Remington bulk pack ammunition. But as I'm shooting, you can still hear my voice as I'm talking. It's not that loud. And of course the pistol locks open on the last shot fired. So this combination is affordable. You're looking at about $199 retail for the suppressor, $399 for the pistol, and a $200 tax stamp. but overall this is a great target pistol. Notice how high the sight's set on the handgun, easily clearing the suppressor. It's one of my favorite handguns right now. I really enjoy shooting it. The 2245 is a real dream to shoot. Again, it has that familiar feel to it, at least for me. The controls, now the slide release is a bit different in appearance, but it's right in the right spot for my thumb to hit it to chamber the round. The safety is right here. I can brush it off with my thumb, but brushing it back on, you really have to kind of push your thumb in there. But again, it's in the right spot for the 1911. I don't think Ruger was trying to so much emulate the controls as they were the grip feel. But they're just in the right spot for you. If you think you're shooting your 1911, you'll go like this with your thumb naturally, and you'll go like that with your thumb naturally to release the slide stop. Again, the magazine drops out just like that. Now you'll notice where the magazine comes out, it's kind of far back in the pistol grip, and the angle is rather steep. And this is one of those things I think is a little bit odd about the handgun. When I go to change magazines, I want to stick the magazine up here. It's unnatural for me because of the 1911 to come in at the angle that it requires and to go so far back in my grip. It's just something you have to get used to. Another thing is, you'll notice in the previous scene where I tried to load a magazine in the pistol and load the pistol, one of the quirks of the pistol is that you want to make sure that you have the bullets properly seated in the magazine. You can see how they're in there right now with the nose up. The problem I had in the last scene was the nose was down, and that causes the bullet to nose into the feed ramp. So the gun has a few little quirks, but overall it's probably one of the most reliable 22 pistols I've owned. Now I do have a round chambered, so let's go ahead and shoot this steel ringer, which is an action target tree, and I have it about 7 yards away. And again, it locks open on the last shot fired. The handgun's really easy to shoot. I love the sights. The sights are windage and elevation adjustable. It just takes a flathead screwdriver to accomplish the adjustment. The front sight is screwed down and does not move around, so all of your elevation and windage adjustments are done to the rear sight. Disassembly on these handguns is a little bit challenging. It does take some practice to accomplish. I'll show you what that looks like here in a couple minutes. Let's do some more shooting with the handgun, and then we'll get to disassembling the handgun here for you. Back to a magazine change, stick it in towards the rear, like that. Drop the slide. Now another thing you'll notice with the handgun is right here you have this little plastic tab sticking out. This is one of the features of the Mark III. You'll see that little red dot. It's a loaded chamber indicator. This wasn't present on the Mark II pistol, so this is one of those new features for the Mark III. A lot of fun. Accurate little pistol. Let's take the handgun apart now. It will require that you have the magazine in the gun to drop the hammer, which is something of an unsafe process, obviously, but keep in mind this thing was designed in 1949. So to begin the process, you'll want to make sure the gun's empty. Now I do have a magazine in the gun, but we're going to make sure that the magazine obviously is empty. I'm going to pull the bolt to the rear and lock it to the rear, check the chamber. Now I'm going to let the bolt go home. I do have to pull the trigger, point the muzzle in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and now you can begin the disassembly process of the handgun. I am going to remove the magazine for this step. Here on the rear of the pistol you have the takedown lever. You should be able to pry this out with a fingernail and a fingertip, but if not, a flathead screwdriver will allow you to pull this disassembly lever down. That frees the mechanism to swing up, and here on the top of the pistol you'll see a pin right behind the rear sight. We're pulling this pin apart. That's what's holding everything together. So you get a little bit of leverage. You can put your thumb on the bottom of the pistol here, hold this up, and just pull down, and it'll pop right out. Now the next step is to pull the bolt out of the pistol, which sometimes it sticks, and I don't know why. That usually frees it up on my gun anyway. I know it's very crude, but whatever's in there causing it to stick, I have no idea. But that allows the bolt to come out of the handgun. The last thing you can do is push the handgun off the frame. This is a polymer frame. Just push forward with your thumb, and it'll pop, And now you've disassembled the handgun. You can see inside all the internals. You'll want to clean all this stuff out. 22 residue gets into everything. To put the pistol back together, you just reverse the process. Put the frame and upper assembly together, just set them together like that and push back until they lock into place. You'll know you'll have them together properly when the ass end sticks out just past the bottom of the grip here. Now you'll want to put the bolt back in the pistol. Do that, just push it in. You'll want to make sure that this bolt stop is down, because if it's up slightly you won't get that in there. And now you'll have to put the magazine back in the pistol, because you will have to pull the trigger again to finish this process. You'll start off with the gun like this, actually muzzle down, and you'll put the pin in just like this. This is where it gets a little bit difficult, to say the least. Push that pin in. Alright, so you push that in like that. Now you'll want to point the pistol up and pull the trigger to finish the assembly process. Then you rotate that in like that, flip your lever, and that'll lock the whole gun back together, and the pistol should resume function. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed hanging out this afternoon, doing a little bit of shooting here with the Ruger MkIII 2245. These pistols are a lot of fun. If you're having a hard time finding ammo out there right now, maybe you can find a couple of boxes of 22, or if you're like me, you have 22 stored away from years ago. I just don't normally shoot 22s, but right now I'm starting to shoot 22s quite a bit more. Again, that's why I went out and bought this new handgun a few weeks ago, was because I decided I'm going to do a lot more 22 shooting just for target practice. If you're interested in buying a suppressor, of course, I highly recommend the Huntertown Arms Guardian 22 suppressors. These things are outstanding. I've had this suppressor now for about a year, and I really enjoy shooting it. I've shot it on my Ruger 1022. I'm shooting it on this 2245. It just works well. You'll also remember I reviewed it, I believe, back with the GSG 1911, which is also a 22 pistol. These handguns are great values. For around 400 bucks, you can buy the handgun, $199 for the Huntertown Guardian suppressor. It's overall a great package, a lot of fun to come out and shoot on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And also it's a great little hunting handgun, or of course target practice handgun. The handgun does hold 10 rounds with these magazines, the loader on the side, which is safe for most states except for I think New York now, which is restricted to 7 rounds for whatever reason. So it's not a high capacity handgun magazine by any means, so it should be good in all states. Of course, your state may or may not allow you to use suppressors. So anyway, I'm gonna go down range, do a little bit more shooting, see if I can find myself some lunch out here this afternoon. If you guys have any questions about what you've seen, of course you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/militaryarms. Thanks for watching, everybody.